to start us off, there are still 6 of you that have not finished your read works for this week, and it is due at the end of the day today. So you might have to do that, during recess or something today. And then before we get started on our book, I'm going to share your project that you will be doing. Well, it's officially open now on Google Classroom, and it is due by something. When is it due? Next Wednesday, I think. Let me go double check. It is due, it's due on Wednesday. It has to do with Restart, so it's going to be our final thing. So this is already on your Google Classroom, and it is 4 slides that you have to do. So you can do it. I think you can do all of them now, pretty much. You don't have to wait till the end of the book. But anyway, so on slide 1, you have to compare and contrast. You're going to click on the shape by the bullet points, and you're going to compare and contrast the old Chase versus the new Chase, and you must fill in each bullet. So for the old Chase, you have 3 things you have to say about him. For the new Chase, you have 5 things you have to say about him. And then something they have the same in common, there's 2 bullets, okay? So, old Chase, new Chase, something in common, okay? Not too crazy. You could do this now without even finishing the book. The next slide is summarizing one major event. Lots of major events happen in Restart, like big things, like the band room incident or the frozen yogurt incident or Leaf Man or the tricycle car wash thing. Any major event, you're going to summarize / retell what happened in your own words. Your retelling and summary should be at least 1 full paragraph. So here you're going to type a paragraph of a summary / retelling any event in the story. I don't care. At least 1 paragraph telling me in your own words. The next one was least favorite / your favorite. Answer the questions below in complete sentences. Be sure to restate your question. Use capital letters and punctuation. Who is your favorite character in Restart? Why? Who is your least favorite character in Restart? Why? Okay, so you're going to tell me that. And then lastly, recommendations. Answer the questions below in your complete sentences. Be sure to restate your question. Use capital letters and punctuation. Did you like the book? Why or why not? Who would you recommend this book to? Like, who else should read it? Okay? And then when you're done, you're going to turn it in. So let me share this tab instead. This is what your Google Classroom looks like. It's under Restart Final Project. Click. It'll take you right to it. When you finish it, you're going to turn it in. So your reading RTI grade will be the AR quiz, and it'll be this project, okay? Those 2 will be going into it. So you have till next Wednesday, which is 6 days. Are there any questions? If you have a question once you get started, let me know. But, the directions are on each slide, so it shouldn't be too crazy hard. But if you have any questions as you get going, we have plenty of time for me to answer them, so just let me know. But it is due next Wednesday, okay? All right, we're going to get started on Shoshana Weber, chapter 28. Remember, we just finished with Bear and Aaron and Chase having like a vacuum fight over this medal, and it was craziness. But now we're on Shoshana Weber, and remember, they're heading to Portland Street. By the time I got to Portland Street, I'm walking as fast that the others are half a block behind me and running to catch up. Chase. I didn't think I could be madder at him than I already am, but this almost makes it worse. He's innocent of the attack on Joel. I saw it with my own eyes. It was easier when I could just hate his guts, no questions asked. But it's not as simple as that. Every time I work myself into a good rage, I'll see him trying to protect Joel or working with the video club or interacting with Mr. Solway. And that will ruin everything. It's a good mix of bad. It's a mix of good and bad, and that makes my head spin. Worse, a lot of things I said turn out to be wrong, and it might be too late to take them back. In the lobby, I wait for the others to catch up and drag them down the hall to Mr. Solway's room. I knock on the door, but burst inside without waiting for an answer. The old man is doubled over in his favorite chair, working on his sneakers lace with intense concentration. Spying me, he exclaims, "Well, don't just stand there. Come on in and help me undo this knot." I don't bend in the middle like I used to, and when I do, I get close enough. I can't see. I step inside and follow the others. By all means, Mr. Solway adds, invite the whole world. Watch the old cougar trying to untie his shoes. Who's bringing the popcorn? You're going to have to blow up the balloons yourself. I haven't got the wind for it anymore. I kneel down and pick the knot at his shoelaces. Mr. Solway, I ask breathlessly, has Chase been here yet? He shakes his head. Haven't seen him in days. You either. He adds a little accusingly. I feel awful. I haven't come by since Joe got hurt, and now I realize that Chase hasn't visited since that horrible day either. It never occurred to me before because my only thought was Chase, were how I despised him. But to Mr. Solway, it looked like we didn't need him anymore because our video was finished and we just tossed him aside. It's my fault, I confess. I got mad at Chase for something that was only partly his fault. That's why we stopped coming. Not because he didn't want to see you, but because he didn't want to see me. And I stopped because I didn't want to run into him. I feel a hand on my shoulder. Joel is standing next to me, and I realize he's trying to tell me I'm getting so worked up about this emotionally that I'm not making any sense. A crooked smile spreads over Mr. Solway's craggy face. I wouldn't be young again for all the tea in China. Kimberly steps forward. We saw a movie about you in my school. That was Warrior, Brendan supplies quickly. The project Shoshana and Chase did together. There's a commotion in the hall, loud voices and footsteps and pounding footsteps. Mr. Solway frowns. No wheelchair roller derby again. The greatest generation. They think they own the world. I poke my head out the door in time to see Chase sprinting towards me with, of all things, a vacuum cleaner clutched in his arms. As I watch, he's yanked violently backward off his feet. He falls hard, still clinging to the appliance. Aaron is on the floor behind him, both hands on the electric cord that brought Chase down. Bear hurdles the fallen Aaron and descends on Chase like a bird of prey. And when Chase won't give up the vacuum, Bear rains punches on his head and shoulders. I hear a cry of outrage from Kimberly, but it's not as loud as my own. The two of us rush forward and jump on Bear, trying to pull him off of Chase, and it works. He scrambles back to his feet and shoves us away from him. Kimberly bounces off the wall, and we stumble together. Our heads meet with a crack. I see stars. Hey, little undersized Brendan comes flying at Bear, his anger leading him courage nobody ever knew he had. He begins pummeling Bear, landing blow after blow. It's insane. David versus Goliath. He isn't even making proper fists. His thumbs stick out like apple stems. Oh no, I just dropped my book. Sorry. Time out. So imagine little Brendan. He's hitting him, and like, I'm sure it looks silly because Bear's so big and Brendan's just hitting him. Oh, cracks myself up. Sorry. Totally dropped my thing. All right. Then Bear's shock expression turns into cruel glee, and he laughs even as Brendan continues to flail at him. Finally, he hauls off and catches his smaller assistant with a bone-crushing uppercut to the jaw. Brendan lifts off the floor and lands 6 feet away. Amazingly, Brendan gets up, his chin bright red from the punch, and starts for Bear again. Chase is on his feet, reaching out to hold Brendan off. It's a good idea. Those two gorillas could really dismantle him. Aaron snatches the vacuum off the floor and draws it back like a baseball bat, and the ball is Chase's head. I rasp a warning, Chase! Mr. Solway Walker comes freewheeling down the hall that slams into Aaron's kidneys just when he's off balance for the home run swing. He and the vacuum tip over backwards onto Bear. 3 of them, Aaron, Bear, and the Hoover, clatter to the floor. Ha! Bullseye! Exclaims Mr. Solway with satisfaction. There they are. The heavy door at the end of the corridor are thrown open, and Joel appears, leading Nurse Duncan and 2 security guards. Way to go, Joel. At least somebody had the brains to go for help. So, like, there's like a giant fight, and everyone's just continuing to fight. But go, Joel. He went and got some adults that could help. Aaron and Bear are ready to fight another round, but the arrival of the security guards and the head nurse puts an end to the action. Brawling in the middle court-ordered community service won't look good on their record. Bear points an accusing finger at Chase. It's his fault. Nurse Duncan is in a towering rage. What is? Residents are beginning to appear in the doorway to investigate the cause of all the disturbance, so the head nurse drops her voice down. What is all this insanity about? In an answer, Chase pulls the filter bag off the Hoover and dumps the contents on the floor. He digs through the mound of fuzz and dirt and comes up with the star-spangled ribbon, gray with dust. Dangling off the end is the highest and most renowned military decoration an American soldier can earn, the Medal of Honor. Not even the contents of the vacuum bag can dull its brilliance. Is that mine? Mr. Solway asks in amazement. Chase nods. I took it from you. I don't remember doing it. It was before my accident, but that's no excuse. He hands it to the rightful owner and bows his head shamefully. It was the old Jew, Brendan mumbles, around his rapidly swelling jaw. Sorry, I have a hair in my mouth. There's only one me, Chase says it so quickly that I can hardly hear him. Mr. Solway Turns the medal over in his fingers. He seems stunned. What about those two clowns, he asked. Were they in on it? Aaron and Bear turned terrified eyes on their former best friend. It was just me, Chase replies. I took it, and I hid it in a loose cedar shake on the roof of my house. That's what I was doing when I fell. I guess I got what I deserved. He shakes his head. I don't know why I would do such an awful thing. I must have thought I could sell it. Mr. Solway looks shocked and very sad. I almost speak up for Chase, but the sign of the stolen medal strikes me mute. Good Chase, bad Chase. There's no question what we're looking at the handiwork of one of the worst of all. But I can tell that Joel wants to support Chase, but he doesn't know what to say. He's the quiet twin. I'm the mouthy one. Brendan's jaw is turning purple, so he's not talking either. Kimberly's completely lost, and Aaron and Bear are so relieved that no one's blaming them that they're keeping their mouths shut too. The only words come from Miss Duncan, or from Nurse Duncan. Well, I have no idea what any of this is supposed to mean. The one thing I understand is there has been a crime committed here. She takes a deep breath. I'm calling the police. Oh no. All right, she's going to call the police on Chase because he stole something. Oh, so sad. All right. Chase Ambrose, chapter 29. There are worse things than falling off a roof. Being arrested, for example. Being known all over the town as the guy who was low enough to rob an old war hero of a medal given to him by the President of the United States. The part that really hurts is what Mr. Solway must think of me now. I stole from the person that I respect more than anybody I've ever met. Talk about fate. I was already guilty of theft before I started admiring the guy, and I'm absolutely sure he'll never speak to me again. Why should he? I wish I could never speak to me again. While we wait for my hearing in juvenile court, Mom keeps me out of school. I like it better that way. I don't have to face everybody and find out how much they despise me. Yeah, sure, they always despise me. But now they've got double reason. Brennan and Shoshana have even called my house, but Mom won't let me talk to anyone. That's on the advice of our lawyer, but it's just fine with me. I can only imagine what Shoshana has to say to me, but I don't want to hear it. Anyways, it can't be worse of all the things I say to myself. Aaron and Bear tried to call too, probably to thank me for covering them. Hey, I stole the medal. But those guys have to be considered at least accomplices because the three-way split agreement. To be honest, I'm not even mad at them anymore. It was just as bad as they are, the ringleader of the whole sick trio. They hadn't changed at all. I'm the one who's different. At least I hope I'm different. Besides, I won't have to deal with them anymore after the hearing. I'll probably wind up in juvie. Even when I get out, chances are my parents won't let them associate with me. I am a delinquent, a bad influence on them. For all I know, that might actually be the truth. Maybe Aaron and Bear were a couple of angels before they met me. Juvie. That's a really high probability I'm going to end up there. The judge is the same one who sentenced Aaron, Bear, and me to community service, so I can't even say this is my first offense. As for pleading not guilty, it's too late for that. Everybody knows I did it. My mom forgives me, but that doesn't mean much. If you can't expect mercy from your own mother, you might as well throw in the towel. Johnny's come back from college to stand with me at the hearing, which means I'm messing up his life too. The only other people I ever see are Dad and his family. Go figure. My stepmom, Corrine, turns out to be the biggest fan at the time when I'm toe jammed to the rest of the world. Not that Mom isn't supportive, but she's so scared of what's going to happen to me that she's nervousness is making everybody nuts. Corrine is different. First, I'm not her kid. And second, she's not the one who might be going to juvie. So she can be a little less emotional about this. It's hard to believe that the judge will be able to see the kind of person you are. I guess I was pretty rotten to you and Helen, I say, before. I don't remember it, but I'm still sorry. Never mind that, she replies. Let's focus on how things are now. Helen is only 4, so she understands nothing about my problem. Actually, the only time I feel really relaxed these days is when we're sitting on the floor with her playing Barbies, something the old Chase wouldn't have been caught dead doing. I'm pushing Malibu Barbie's beach cruiser, giving Ken a ride to the luau, when I notice Dad filming me on the floor. I thought playing with 4-year-olds interferes with your focus on important things like football, I tell him. Are you kidding, Champ? He explains. We can show this at your trial. It's a hearing. Whatever. It'll prove to the judge what a great big brother you are, and that will get you back on the football field. I sigh. I guess you think I'm a pretty big moron for returning the medal. He actually seems to mull it over. Well, I'd be lying if I didn't say it would have been a lot smarter just to slip it under Mr. Solway's door. Yeah, tell me about it. But you did the right thing, he adds. That medal's worthless to you. You didn't earn it. Not like your state championship, let's say. It only has value to Mr. Solway. I don't know how valuable it is to him either. He can't remember any of what he did to win it. He blanked out the way I blanked out my whole past. Dad shrugs. Even if you can't remember it, it still happened. I love the kid you used to be. I start to protest, but he holds up a hand. Let me finish. Just because I miss the old Chase doesn't mean I don't appreciate who you are now. I'm not blind. I see the bond you have with Helen. You think that would have been possible before the accident? I thought you considered that kind of stuff weakness. He reddens. I just didn't know the new you yet. It takes strength to eat the blame and not rat out Aaron and Bear, especially when they more than deserve it. Or they try to make things right with Mr. Solvay or even the Weber kid, whether they appreciate it or not. You're strong, all right, and stupid. But anybody has stupid moments. The trick is to not let the bad moments cost you the game. There's something in his expression that I've never noticed before. It was there it was probably there a lot before my accident, but this was the first time that I actually see it. Pride, which is going to be worth exactly 0 in front of the judge. So just there, his dad finally wasn't a jerk for once, and he was saying, he is proud of him for doing the right thing, and it is hard to do the right thing. So thanks, Dad, for not being a jerk. As I step through the metal detector at the courthouse, I freeze. I've been here before. The memory comes flooding back. Move it along, son, the security guard urges me. Plenty of people in line behind you. Right. Sorry. I stumble forward to make room for Mom, Johnny, Dad, and Mr. Landau, our lawyer. I must look like a little shaky because my brother whispers, hang in there, kid. I nod. Wrapped up in my latest flashback, arriving in this very building with Aaron Bear and our families. What I remember most is my anger, my outrage that the three of us were being hauled off to court for booby trapping Joel's piano. I was mad at everybody, Joel, the Webbers, the school, the police. Didn't they know who I was? Chase Ambrose, MVP of the state championship game. We ruled that school. Whatever we did was okay because it was us who did it. Yeah, I was mad. I can practically feel the heat of my rage radiating through my memory. What a difference a few months makes. Back then, I had such high opinion of the great Chase Ambrose that I considered myself untouchable. Now it's the opposite. I hate myself so much that there's no way any judge could hate me more. That's why Mr. Landau has been so frustrated with me. How can you create a defense for someone who won't defend himself? It's not what I want. It's not that I want to be sent to juvie. I don't. But I'm 100% guilty. I took the medal. I hid the medal. And if I'd been my old self, I would have sold the medal and pocketed the money. There it is, my whole case. That's probably why Mr. Landau's betting everything on character witnesses, because I refuse to say anything on my own behalf. Fun fact, a character witness is someone who comes and testifies on your behalf and says oh, this person has changed. Oh, this person is good. That happens in real court cases, a character witness. I hear my mom draw a tremulous breath as we enter the courtroom. My dad puts an arm around my shoulder. Believe it or not, I can't even shrug it off. Right now, I need all the support I can get. When I take my first look around, I almost lose it. Everybody's here. Brendan and Kimmy are sitting with the video club along with lots of kids of school. I see Coach Davenport and a group of football players, Joey and Landon and some others. Miss DeLoe is there too, along with several of my teachers. In the front row, I'm shocked to find Shoshana, Joel, and their parents. Shoshana catches me looking at her and quickly turns her head. I'm blown away. I already know I'm not the most popular guy in Hiwassee, but the fact that so many people despise me so much they take the time out of their day to come and watch me get sentenced to juvie is the most painful thing I've ever had to face. All that's missing is the stalks of an angry mob can throw rotten vegetables at me. Judge Gar Freckle comes in and spends a few minutes reviewing the case file when I sit there and stew. Oh, I remember now. He turns a sharp gaze on me. Young man, I told you that if I ever saw you in my courtroom again, things would go very hard with you. What do you have to say for yourself? Mr. Landau starts to get up. While he's buttoning his jacket, I reply, nothing, Your Honor. I don't remember why I stole Mr. Solway's medal. I wouldn't do it today, but I definitely did it then. The judge nods gravely. I appreciate your honesty. You're making my job easier, if not any more pleasant. I have some character witnesses who would like to be heard, Mr. Landau announces, if it pleases the court. Judge Garfrakel sighs. Proceed. Mom goes first. Dripping enough tears to warp the wood of the witness stand, her main message is what a different child I used to be and how much I've changed since my accident. She spends a lot of time talking about how seriously injured I was and how long I was unconscious. This comes from Mr. Landau's careful coaching, but Judge Garfredel looks about as easy to persuade as if one of those giant headstones on Esther's Island. Dad is next, and I'm amazed at some of the things he says. I thought all he cared about was that I'm a chip off the old block, but he only mentions football once. What kid doesn't act like he's got it all figured out when he's Chase's age? Even so, getting to know my son the way he is now, I almost wish someone had pushed me off the roof when I was 13. I'm stunned. The very best part of my father's 48 years was the time he spent in middle and high school. He considered himself to have been the ultimate athlete, hotshot, and big man on campus. He has never, not once, allowed even the most remote possibility that his youth was anything less than perfect, until today, when he thought it might help me. Dr. Cooperman comes up to confirm that my head trauma was serious as we say it was, enough to bring on amnesia and enough to cause a personality change. Judge Freckle frowns, and the personality change is permanent? It's impossible to tell, the doctor admits. In many ways, we know more about outer space than we do about the inner workings of the human brain. But there's every reason to believe that Chase is a new person. As Dr. Cooperman steps down, the bailiff reads the name on the next character witness. Shoshana Weber. What? I'm frozen in my chair. This has to be a mistake. But no, Shoshana has gotten up and is heading to the stand. I tug on Mr. Landau's sleeve. No, I hiss. This character witness thinks I'm a subhuman garbage. She's still avoiding eye contact with me, but there's an intense expression on her face. She's a girl on a mission, and I know exactly what the mission is, to bury me. She doesn't say anything, just sits there, steam building inside of her like a boiler about to explode. Not good. Oh, this is so not good. Miss Weber, prompts the judge. I know Chase is guilty, she begins. He's guilty of a lot of things, but he has done a lot of good things. He's trying, even if he isn't always succeeding. Judge Garfreckle clears his throat. Young lady, the purpose of this character's witness is to vouch for character, not to point out faults. I was getting to that part, she tells him. The big question is, what kind of person is Chase going to be now? He gave the medal back. That's a plus. But there are minuses too. Like at school when he lied to cover up for his old friends. I'm not saying that to make him look bad. I'm trying to give you a totally fair picture of Chase today. Thanks to falling off that roof, he's been given a chance to restart his whole life. Maybe it hasn't been perfect. She struggles for the right words. I'm silently pulling for her not to find them. I'm grateful that she doesn't seem to hate me as much as before, but this isn't helping. And the judge prods. I was harder on Chase than anybody else, she explains. And some of that was justified and some of it wasn't. I guess what I mean is, if I have faith that he's going to turn out okay, you can take that to the bank. And I'm amazed to say this, but I just know he'll be a good person. Huh? It wasn't the kind of testimonial Mr. Landau was hoping for, but it was absolutely honest. For sure, I wasn't expecting to hear the words good person come from Shoshana. Not when she was talking about me. Don't get me wrong. If the Webers forgive me, they would be a humongous weight off my shoulders. Mostly, though, I'm just confused. This isn't going at all the way I expected. That's smart of you to say, Miss Weber, Judge Garfreckle comments on the bench, but that isn't what this hearing is about. Chase is charged with the theft of a medal of honoring belonging to Mr. Julius Solway, which nobody denies happened, not even Chase himself. But don't you see, she pleads? If I can misjudge him, anybody can, even a judge. Thank you for your testimony, he tells Shoshana. Let's move along. Would anybody else here like to say something on behalf of this young man? The chorus of squeaky chairs' backs and shuffling feet is louder than it should be. That's when I realized that every single person in the gallery has gotten up. They cross the courtroom in the direction of the witness stand, kids, teachers, and parents alike. The only occupied seats belong to my family and Mr. Landau. Everybody else is in line in front of the bewildered bailiff. Video kids I know pushed along in the past. Teachers whose classes I used to disrupt. Football players who thought I deserted them. Even Joel and his parents. I stare at them. Practically everyone I know waiting their turn to support the bully who deserves no support at all. They nod encouragingly at me, flash me thumbs up. The picture doesn't last long. My eyes fill with tears and it's all a blur. I was afraid I might cry at some point during the hearing, but not because of this. This is something I couldn't have imagined in a million centuries. I bite down on the inside of my mouth hard, and my vision clears a little. From the bench, Judge Garfreckle gazes at the milling crowd. All right, I get it, he turns to me. This is impressive, and I don't deny that you must have completed an incredible turnaround. But this is a serious crime has been committed here, and not the first offense either. Chase, can you guarantee that you're no longer the same person who stole Mr. Soloway's medal? All right, we are going to stop right there for today because, well, I could just cry right now. Like, Chase is in like the worst moment of his life, and people are still there rooting for him, wanting him to be okay. I don't know. It just, I don't know. This book always gets me so much during this part. Like, he's in the worst moment of his life. I mean, besides falling off the thing, he's just sitting there and he's in a courtroom, and every single person he knows basically is willing to put themselves on the stand and say that he has changed, say that he is a good person now, and it just kills me. So tomorrow we are going to finish the book, then we're going to do some review. There are definitely some sad parts in this book, Mackenzie, for sure. Like, I could probably cry right now just thinking about Chase and how hard it must be to sit there, and then how grateful he probably is to all those people that are willing to testify for him. So we will finish this book tomorrow. Don't forget, your ReadWorks is due by the end of the day if you haven't finished it. And don't forget, by next Wednesday, you have to finish your 4 slides, okay? Which are now on your Google Classroom. This will be posted, of course. See you later. Yes, that's why it's posted. I just said that.